Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So another Costco find for you today. I did a couple of videos before in the past on Costco items. One problem with Costco is the fact that if you see something one week, generally they're usually either gone or only online by the next week. So if you see something at Costco you really like, I highly recommend just get it, because they tend to rotate out their stock very quickly and move around all of their displays. That being said, picked up these right here. These are Artika Skylights. They are ultra thin LED panels. So what's cool about these are the fact that they are designed, and spin it around here, designed for things like garages where you already have a bulb in place like this lamp right here. These are actually one-piece LED bulb lamps. They look kind of like pocket lights, but they're not quite. They actually have a cover and then there's an LED panel behind there. So if one of these dies, you have to replace the whole thing. Now, they are like a off-white, kind of soft white LED, so I wanted to get something a little bit brighter for the garage. We do a lot more videos now on the Tacoma and various projects around the garage. So I think it'd be better to get a little bit more light. So let's take a look at these Artika panels and we'll get into this install. Now these panels are rather large. Think like the old-fashioned like dangling fluorescent bulb lights you see at schools or government buildings. Kind of that size. We have a 48-inch length, a almost 12-inch width, and almost an inch in thickness. Now how these are designed, you can see here it's an ultra-thin LED panel, and then you actually go and you're going to slide it onto a bracket, which is going to go right into your electric junction box right here if you have one. If you don't have one, you just have some wires or there's no box there, then there's an option to run these into anchors or studs. But this might be the way to go, especially if you already have a normal light bulb in place. Quick specs, 3700 lumens, 50,000 hour lifespan, color is 4000K, and you have a 46 watt power usage, and these are dimmable, which is nice. So typical LEDs, and then kind of like we're talking about garage, man cave, workshop, kitchen, you name it. It's kind of a nice replacement. Plenty of tape. Nicely packaged. What you get in here is the panel with the bracket already slid on and installed. And over on the side, you get some hardware. Panel just slides out. Instructions, and you can kind of see how this works. You're going to do white to white, black to black, ground, and this panel itself has tape on it. So just go and take this tape off here. And now this bracket will just slide right off. And you can kind of see how this is designed right there. You're going to be installing it with a little bit of a buffer in here. So most of the wires are going to have to go through this hole into the junction box. But you have a little bit of a buffer. You can lock this into place like so. As always with working with electricity, first things first, turn off the power so there's no electricity going to the wires you'll be working with. Really the only tools you need for this job is a tape measure and a drill with a Phillips bit or just a Phillips screwdriver, and then whatever type of driver or bit you may need to get off the old fixture you are replacing. So take off that old fixture and we'll get to this install. Take your white here, unscrew that, and take your black, unscrew that. You can pull this whole piece down. Not all fixtures are the same. For some reason these have double white, double black, double ground. I don't know, the last one I've done is just single. So who knows what was going on when the house was built. But here are the three wires you'll be working with. Take your panel, notice this arrow here. This arrow has to go the length of which way you want this light to go lengthwise. So you can actually simply put all the wires, which have some good thickness to them, so they actually might be able to hold this panel up a little bit. Put all the wires up like so. You can kind of see how this is going to go. You're going to go and put 2 screws into the actual junction box here, and then slide the light fixture on once you get these hooked up. Now if you'd like, there are holes here that you can actually screw in for extra measures to kind of really keep this nice and flat. But generally speaking, if you don't want to use these and put anchors in the wall, then you can just go ahead and run it into the junction here, and that's going to hold it pretty flat, just like that. I'm going to find the best placement for these holes here. Alright, I'm actually going to reuse the screws I had. That way you know the threads are good. And then see if you can just line it into that hole there. There you go. And then same with this one here. Get it started. There you go. Now tighten them down a little bit, but not all the way, because you're going to want to take your tape measure here, find a point where you can measure from exactly and get this nice and straight. And then you can tighten these two down. Now there's a sticker on the panel right here with the arrow. So match that arrow up with this arrow. Make sure you're installing in the same direction. And also it's kind of nice about these panels that they come with these nice safety clips. Now these are great because when you're working with wires, having to hold them with one hand, connect things with the other hand is not ideal, like for ceiling fans and things like that, which I've done a ton of. So having something like a cable system like this to simply hook on and then let this dangle so you can work with the wires is awesome. I have this ground green screw right here. Now what I like to do with that is pull the ground wire out from the fixture and just wrap this around and then tighten it down some. Then take this green and yellow on the light. Take one of your orange nuts here. And for the ground, wrap that around and twist until nice and tight. See right there. And then same thing, white to white. Nice and tight, especially with the 3 wires in there. And finally, black to black. Go around this side. Do a quick little twist in there, kind of get it going. And there you go. Nice and tight. Now with this mount set up the way it is, how this kind of hangs off of these sliding hooks here, I really don't think this is as quite of a flush fit as they kind of market it as. It's going to dangle probably maybe a few millimeters down from the actual ceiling just because how these kind of hang down a bit and where this kind of connects in. But we'll see how close we can get it, and the best way to do that is to lift your panel up and take some of these cords, tuck them very gently back into the junction box. Try to keep them separate. Think of it as like a triangle. You want to keep the white on one side, the black on the other. And that'll give you the best chance to really get this to go in and be flush mount. You could probably even take off these hooks here. I don't know if it's going to bunch up too much. Once you got all the wires tucked in, hold this up. Find the slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slide and lock. And there you have it. So you do have a little bit of a gap there. And then on the ends, there's nothing holding them. I mean, the frame and the bracket and everything are kind of right here. It's a little wobbly, but it's about the same spacing around. So you can kind of see how this is. It kind of wobbles a bit on there, but it's gonna be very hard because it's kind of a lip on one of those hooks. So it's very hard to actually slide this around without really jamming it. Let's turn the power back on and see how she looks. Well, there you have it. Nice, easy 5-minute DIY project. Really a nice, sleek upgrade. They look good, and more importantly, I think they're gonna add quite a bit more light than we saw with those soft white puck lights. So if you see these in your local Costco, be sure to maybe pick them up. If you're looking for a way to kind of enhance your lighting in your garage, this might be an easy solution for that. So there you go. If you have any questions or comments, hit them down below. I'll be happy to answer them. As always, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up, really helps me out. Head over to Instagram, follow me there. Like us on Facebook for all the latest and greatest deals on the internet. And I'll see you guys in the next review.